have you here. And I'm from the New Orleans area, and you were giving me advice on where to go in New Orleans in the break. Thank you.
I love to eat my way through New Orleans.
Oh, please.
Stein's Deli.
Okay.
Stein's Deli.
What do I
Get
order?
the Rachel extra crispy. They'll know it's from me. They'll go, oh, Blake sent you.
Rachel extra crispy.
Extra crispy. Yeah, the bread toasty and the meat crispy.
She had me at extra crispy. I don't care what it is. It could be air.
A little that too.
Congratulations.
Anyway, not what we're doing here. It can be full food reviews.
We can always talk about food. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank
and
you.
This new movie that you have out, explain to people, because it's very inspiring about a person, a woman who's blind, but then gets her sight.
Yeah, she suffers an eye injury with a car accident when she's a young girl, and so she loses her eyesight around the age of 12, and then she ends up getting a corneal transplant in her late 20s, which you can do. And the woman who I was working with on the film, she was changing my contact lenses. She actually had this happen.
Wow.
So when I have the moment where I regain my sight after I have the surgery, it was really like I was playing to her. Like, is this accurate? Is this how you really felt? And so it was just so nice to be able to have people around that, you know, could help us tell the story authentically. So.
Would you like to see a bit of it? Would you like to?
G. Gina? No, it's okay. We tried.
I don't speak in the movie, which is strange.
But you don't have to.
No, I do speak. I don't know why we have a clip where I don't speak, but I do speak in the movie. Actually, this is not a silent film.
But that's just the power of it. I mean, and to have somebody there who could tell you what that moment really felt like, and you were able to express that.
Yeah, because what happens often is your eye can reject the new cornea, and so sometimes people start to lose their sight, which is what she experiences in the movie a bit. So it's a really emotional journey, but for her, it's really, she's in this beautiful, loving marriage. She met him when she was blind, and then once she gets her sight, she realizes their marriage isn't exactly everything she thought it was. So it's really, really fascinating. Yeah. And I got to know the set and everything with the blind contact lenses, and I had lenses that would take away my sight. So
Completely.
Wow.
What was that like?
So it was really everything else is heightened when you don't have your sight to rely on. The hardest part is looking in the eyes of your co-star when you're having an emotional moment, but you have to rely on each other emotionally in a way when you don't have the eyes to rely on. It's like there's a greater connectivity. So it was a really heavy movie. I sang for the first time. I can't sing at all, and I played the guitar blind. I mean, it was just like, oh God,
Incredible experience.
yeah, it was really incredible.
Blake, while we have you here, I want to ask you about this avalanche of information that's coming out about Harvey Weinstein, because the question is, I mean, you're in the industry. How do you think Hollywood moves on from this point? How do you think it can seize this moment and turn it into something positive?
I think it's important that we acknowledge that this isn't just Hollywood. This is so much more global, and it's not just, oh, guess what, this is what's happening to women suddenly. This has been happening since the beginning of time, but now people are finally talking about it. And I think that that's what's important, is that where I never had experiences like this with Harvey myself. I only had positive ones with him, but but that goes to show where, you know, you don't always see what's going on behind closed doors. So I think that when people come forward, that your bosses, you have to acknowledge it. You know, there have been moments where I've come forward, where other people have come forward with things that just feel little and you're not sure. But when your bosses tell you that this is not a priority to them, then you think, okay, well then this must not be that big of a deal. Maybe what I'm complaining about isn't really that big of a deal. And it is.
And you're right, that's every single workplace.
Yep.
You just have to know it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah, but it's more than just like, oh, we're talking about it and we're supporting it. It's action. Everybody says that they stand in solidarity, but you have to show them.
You have your wonderful husband who's in the business as well. Is it helpful that you both are in this business and can have conversations? And
In general, yeah, it's nice to have somebody who understands what you're doing,
Right.
especially because our job is so weird. We have to, like, be married to other people, and like it's all so strange. It's still strange. It's never normal, even when we're both doing it. But it's helpful to know that, like, oh, when you're acting like you're in a relationship with someone, that's not actually what's happening. Because I have friends who are married to people who aren't in the business, and they're like, oh, so you're not actually making love in that scene? I'm like, no, definitely not. No. So yeah, those elements are helpful.
And his tweets about your daughters are hysterical.
Luckily, I lost my password to Twitter like a year and a half ago, so I haven't been able to keep up. So everybody's always asking me about it, and I said, "Oh my God, he said
Trust
what?"
us. It's
No,
hysterical.
he's so funny. So anyway, a lot of therapy.
Thanks for coming in. All I See Is You is in theaters October 27th. Let's go over to Sarah.
It is time now for fall fashion with the powerhouse designer and our sponsor, Michael Kors. He's showing us the must-have